So thanks to your kind donations, everyone, we bought the equipment, and I managed to fund me to buy the equipment required to cover the recent events down in London. Thanks to the journalism drive which I've started, we bought the equipment needed to cover the embassy. And on Thursday night, late on Thursday night, I got a message from Elizabeth Lee Voss because WikiLeaks had tweeted this out. Breaking: a high-level source within the Ecuadorian state has told WikiLeaks that Julian Assange will be expelled within hours to days, quote, hours to days, that is, using the INA Papers offshore scandal as a pretext, and that it already has an agreement with the UK for his arrest. Now, I'm sure you can imagine that WikiLeaks are very wary of raising any false alarms. So, and I'm sure that you can imagine that WikiLeaks will be a target of, you know, some underhand people to make them fall for a false alarm. And I know that people have made the accusation that maybe it was. I don't think that this was a false alarm, simply because WikiLeaks are very wary of that. So was this a credible threat? Well, they're already reacting to it because Ecuador have removed an official that's close to Assange. This is just, you know, a day or so after WikiLeaks have got a source from within the Ecuadorian embassy, and then a second source as well that they confirmed, saying that his arrest was imminent and that the deal had been struck with the UK. And then there's the increased surveillance around the area, because Cassandra Fairbanks, who I would like to point out something, you know, I'll point it out in a bit, but I want to give her lots of credit for reporting on this, because she went down there, she came over from America, I believe, and went there, and she spotted all these cameras around. There's one up there that's directly on the embassy. Even I didn't spot that when I was down there. And there's that one right on top of one of the buildings as well. Now, we sort of know, or we sort of think where they, or I sort of knew where they were. These are new positions for me, so that was really great that she did that. And I want to give a special props to Cassandra Fairbanks, because when I was down there on the ground, we were trying to surmise, obviously, if they were going to arrest Julian Assange, when they would do it, what's the most likely time. And obviously, I mean, I was down there within 7 hours. By the time I got down there, there was quite a few people down there already. So people really had sprung into action. Anybody who saw the rugby stream when WikiLeaks broke that tweet, they know that people arrived there pretty quickly, and maybe it scuppered some sort of plan. And the Ecuadorians are saying, look, there was no plan at all. This is all WikiLeaks fake news. I think they're just using that just as an excuse, you know, just as a way to deflect things on. It's pretty obvious if you look at the increased surveillance and etc., that they're trying to get him. And when I was down there on the ground, we were trying to surmise what was the most likely time. And what we thought was, and most of us were of this opinion, that Sunday night was the most likely time, you know, 4 o'clock Sunday morning, after all the reporters have gone after the hullabaloo of the weekend. I was obviously back in Wolverhampton. Most people had gone back to their homes because they got work again on the Monday, and that's what we thought. So props to Cassandra Fairbanks, because she went out and she did some brilliant reporting, because if I was in London, I would have hoped that I would have done something like this. This is excellent. WikiLeaks tweeted this out of what she did. She walked up to one of the undercover cars staking out the Ecuadorian embassy in London. This particular car had seen 3 shifts of different pairs of people over the last 20 hours, engines running, lights on. Watcher makes a call under head cover. Here we go.
Hey, are you guys worried about being parked here for so long? Hi. I'm a journalist from Washington, D.C. I've already spoke to you guys twice before. You told me that you're not media, that you're not journalists. I'm trying to cover the covert operation against Julian Assange. You guys are the 3rd round of people, at least, that's been sitting in this car in the last 20 hours. Can you please tell me how long you're planning to be out here? Are more people going to come take over for you after this? The Ecuadorian government has said that they might expel Julian Assange from the embassy. Are you waiting for that? How come
Spooks covering the faces up. Isn't that glorious?
you guys are watching him, but you don't want to be watched yourself? Why do the watchers not want to be watched? I would really like an answer to this. We're going to continue to cover this. You may as well just talk to us. How much is this going to cost taxpayers? How long has this operation been going on? He's been in there for 7 years. Have you guys been monitoring it for 24/7 for 7 years now? Do you guys not feel bad? He has asylum and he's a journalist. You don't feel bad doing this? I respect police and I'm glad that they're there to keep us safe, but this is not keeping anyone safe. Shame on you.
Yeah, shame on them. I think you'll agree. That was brilliant. And you know what I thought? When I started my journalism drive, I said, you know, this is new for me going out on the road. I'm going to learn. And I learned from that big time, because honestly, that's exactly what I'm going to be doing when I'm down there. Now, I'm going to be looking for these people, and I'm going to be shining a light on them, and I'm going to have the camera in their face, and I'm going to have them cowering and covering these people who are attacking the fourth estate at the behest of the establishment. And you know what? Every one of those reporters that were down there baying, you know, there for the big story, baying for blood, the banks of them from the BBC and ITV and Channel 4, if they're not going up to these bastard vehicles as well, doing the same thing, then shame on them, because this is an attack on the fourth estate. And well done, Cassandra Fairbanks, for doing that. I thought that was brilliant, and that is what I want to be doing. That is exactly what every reporter worth their salt should be doing on this. You know, I made the point in one of my videos that I did from down there over the weekend. Everybody, you know, claps about the Post, and this is wonderful, the Post with the Pentagon papers. You know, that movie that they made with Meryl Streep and Tom Hanks. Oh, it's fantastic. They made the publisher out to be the hero. He wasn't the hero, it was the whistleblower. And then everybody came out and said, oh, great, free press. It's nonsense. It's happening right now in London. The guy is being tortured because he basically published the truth. And these reporters don't give a flying F. You've got to ask why. We know why, don't we? Because any experienced reporter who cares about his or her profession would be doing the same as Cassandra Fairbanks did right there. I think it was brilliant what she did. Absolutely brilliant. I'm sure you do too. Assange has committed no crime whatsoever. None. None. Yet he's been locked up 7 years in arbitrary detention. For 7 years. Because he published the truth in a political prison, basically. The government's own lawyer, the US government's own lawyer, I think it was in a court of law, I think it was in a court case, testified that the Manning releases, remember, that is the reason why they want to get their hands on Julian. The Manning releases, thanks to Assange and WikiLeaks giving so much advance notice, by the way, left 0 lives in danger. None. Their own lawyer argued that and said that in court. Their own defence lawyer. This is a witch hunt. And the neocons in Washington have tried every which way they can to try and get their hands on him. Every which way. First of all, there was the Sweden thing. It's important to remember that Sweden had investigated this and pretty much had closed the case. And Assange was free to leave the country and left Sweden to come to the UK. And it was only after pressure from the UK Foreign Office, etc., and the US Foreign Office, their State Department, that Sweden reopened the case. He didn't skip the country or anything like that. They always miss that out. You know, so they've tried that, and they tried obviously. So they've tried coercing ex-girlfriends of his. It just annoys me that they always miss out that. They always miss out that. They forced Sweden to reopen the case. Then he sought asylum. That's when he sought asylum. He wasn't running away. He knew that it was a witch hunt. He knew that they were coming for him, and he was right. They forced him. They gagged him then over the Catalan tweets. Gagged him. Silenced his freedom of speech. Human rights violation right there. Because he said something on Twitter about Spain's democracy. So they've used that to try and force him out. And now they're trying to force him out over the INA Papers scandal, which, remember, WikiLeaks didn't publish, but they've blamed it on them anyway. As they do, because he's trying to save his own failing presidency. Looks like whoever would come in after Moreno wouldn't be any better, so that's a bit of a bitch, to be quite honest. And this is all, remember, after them took $500 million or something like that from Goldman Sachs and trying to sell Julian Assange back to the Americans through Manafort for debt relief. These are all facts, documented facts that the media never, ever bring up, ever. And if they do, it's in, you know, paragraph 17, subsection Z, and one line somewhere. So with all this in mind, with everything that's happened, and, you know, with the state of Lenin Moreno's presidency, and the state of, you know, the Brexit in the UK, which is an absolute disaster, and which is possibly going to lead to a general election and a Jeremy Corbyn-led socialist government, quite possibly, you can see why they are ramping this up and desperate to get him. The mask is off here. You know, the time is ticking. They might be losing their window of opportunity, and they are absolutely petrified, I'm sure of it. And that's why we're seeing this ramp up of extra security now. As Cassandra Fairbanks rightly just pointed out, there was another. I saw armed police, and she did, arrive while we were there. Armed police. The one guy I was there, he dropped his bullets all over the floor. It's quite comical. I wish I'd got the camera set up, to be quite honest. It's quite likely that this is actually going to happen, or they're going to keep trying to make this happen, because remember, WikiLeaks did say within hours to days, and it's only been what 3 or 4 days since that has happened. Now Moreno visits Washington on the 17th or the 18th, I think it is, about 9 days time, and no doubt they're doing that because to try and come up with another plan to get Julian Assange, another plan to try and persecute and prosecute a publisher for publishing the truth. We'll see what happens next. It seems like the drama may yet unfold. Julian Assange needs all the support right now that we can muster. I can't stress that enough. He really does. So does Chelsea Manning, remember, who is currently in prison because she's refusing to prosecute her publisher, which is a direct violation on the Fourth Estate. And any journalist not screaming about that right now, well, they're part of the problem. Because this is an assault on the Fourth Estate, make no bones about it. And any journalist not screaming blue murder right now is either bought or paid for, or is hoping to be, auditioning for it, so to speak. Protect Julian, Unity 4J, and free Chelsea Manning. Support them however you can. I'll leave links below this video when I drop it as a separate video. Please use all the information below you can. Write to your MP, get them on record as to whether they support Julian Assange and the Fourth Estate and the free press or not. Thanks very much. Thanks for watching. Please make sure you're still subscribed and click the bell below for a notification of when I drop further videos. Also, click through to my website to find out ways which you can support me. I can't do this without your support, and I really appreciate it. Till next time, peace and take care.